Something about Lila Hoff doesn't add up. And by episode 4, the show has given us enough evidence to stop treating her like the helpless woman Reacher happened to meet and start asking a much more dangerous question. Who is Lila really? Because every time Reacher gets closer to understanding her story, another piece stops making sense. She says she's searching for her father because she needs a transplant. She says the woman who died on the subway was helping uncover his identity. She presents herself as someone desperate for answers about a missing parent. But then people start dying around her. Armed men are sent after her. And when Reacher reaches her motel room, he doesn't find a frightened woman waiting for protection. He finds multiple bodies, brutally killed with distinctive karambit blades, while Lila and Amisha have completely disappeared. That's not the behavior of someone who simply stumbled into a conspiracy. It looks much more like someone who already knew there was a war happening and knew exactly how to survive it. The biggest clue is the story Lila tells Reacher about her father. On the surface, it sounds convincing. She's sick, she needs a transplant. Her mother is gone. She believes her biological father was an American soldier, but his identity has been hidden, and she wants Reacher's help finding him. That's the kind of problem Reacher cannot ignore. But there's something strange about how perfectly her story connects to the larger mystery. The dead woman on the subway worked for the Pentagon. She was investigating Lila's father. There's a classified flash drive involved. Congressman John Sampson appears to be connected somehow. And suddenly, several different groups are willing to kill people to keep the information buried. That's an enormous amount of danger surrounding one woman's search for a biological parent. So the question becomes, what if finding her father was never Lila's real objective? What if the story about the transplant is only the easiest way to make Reacher sympathize with her? Because Reacher is particularly vulnerable to that kind of manipulation. Not emotionally vulnerable in the normal sense, but morally. If someone is being exploited, Reacher gets involved. If someone is being hunted, he protects them. If someone is being lied to by powerful people, he wants to uncover the truth. Lila doesn't need to convince Reacher that she's innocent forever. She only needs to convince him that she deserves his protection long enough for him to start asking questions on her behalf. And that's exactly what happens. Reacher takes the bait. He starts investigating the flash drive. He confronts Sampson. He gets dragged into the CIA black site situation. He keeps moving closer to the conspiracy because he believes he's helping Lila uncover the truth about her father. But what if Lila knew that would happen? That's where episode 4 becomes especially interesting, because Anna Merrick's death tells us that something far more serious is happening. Anna already knew her son Ben was dead before she entered the subway. She wasn't trying to deliver information anymore. She was carrying a weapon and looking for revenge. Then she encounters Reacher, realizes the opportunity for revenge has disappeared, and takes her own life. That means Anna's final actions weren't random. She was operating under an entirely different set of circumstances than Reacher initially understood. And then Ben's body is discovered. He's been brutally murdered with a distinctive Indonesian karambit. That detail immediately points toward Lila and Amisha. Now look at what happens when Reacher reaches Lila's motel. There are bodies everywhere, but there are two different groups. One group appears to have been killed by strangulation. The other has been brutally cut apart using curved blades. And the people Reacher expects to find, Lila and Amisha, are gone. That is the moment the theory changes. Because if Lila were simply the target, why would her attackers be dead? And if she was helpless, how did she disappear from a room filled with bodies? Maybe someone protected her. But there is another possibility. Maybe Lila protected herself. The karambit is the clue that makes this theory so interesting. The show deliberately establishes the weapon's connection to Indonesian martial arts, and Lila and Amisha are Indonesian. That's not enough to prove they committed the murders, but it is enough to make their disappearance extremely suspicious. And there's an even bigger problem. Lila isn't the only person whose story keeps changing. Her circumstances keep shifting depending on who is asking questions. At one moment, she's a desperate daughter searching for her father. At another, she's connected to people who seem to know far more about the conspiracy than Reacher does. And now she's vanished from a crime scene where several trained killers were eliminated. That's a very different picture. It starts looking less like Reacher found an innocent woman trapped inside a conspiracy, and more like Reacher walked into someone else's operation. And if that's true, Lila may have known exactly what she was doing. She may have known Anna was investigating her father. She may have known about the flash drive. She may have known people would come looking for her. And she may have needed someone like Reacher to become involved. Because here's the thing about Reacher. Once he starts investigating something, he doesn't stop until he understands it. That's why using him would be incredibly effective. Lila doesn't have to fight the government herself. She doesn't have to infiltrate every facility. She doesn't have to interrogate every person connected to the conspiracy. She just needs Reacher to believe she's worth protecting. Then Reacher does what Reacher always does. He kicks down the doors. He finds the people responsible. He follows the evidence. And eventually he uncovers information that Lila may have been searching for all along. That's the possibility that makes her character so dangerous. But there is another question we need to ask. Who is Lila's father? The show keeps emphasizing that he was an American soldier, but his identity appears to have been deliberately obscured. That makes no sense if he's simply some random soldier who had a child overseas. Unless his military history is connected to the secret Anna discovered. Unless he wasn't just a soldier. Unless he was part of the operation. And if Lila knows more about him than she's admitting, then her search isn't really about finding her father. It could be about finding something he left behind. A name, a location, a piece of evidence, or even the identity of the people who destroyed his life. That would explain why powerful people are so desperate to keep her away from the truth. And it would also explain why Anna Merrick was killed. Anna may have discovered who Lila's father really was. She may have discovered what he was involved in. And the flash drive could contain the proof, which means Lila's illness might be real, her need for a transplant might be real, her desire to find her father might even be real. But that doesn't mean she's telling Reacher everything. That's the important distinction. She doesn't have to be completely lying. She only has to be hiding the part of the truth that matters most. And Reacher has already started trusting her. That's potentially his biggest mistake. Because Reacher is excellent at reading criminals. He's excellent at spotting fear, deception, intimidation, and weakness, but Lila may be doing something much smarter. She isn't threatening him, she's giving him a reason to care, and that's much harder for Reacher to detect. Then there's Amisha. Her presence around Lila becomes more suspicious with every episode. She's not simply a companion standing beside a frightened woman. She's capable. She's armed. And after the motel massacre, she disappears with Lila. That suggests the two women may have been working together long before Reacher entered the picture. And if Amisha is Lila's protector, then the next question is obvious. Who exactly was she protecting Lila from? The obvious answer is the people behind the flash drive. But there's another possibility. What if Amisha were protecting Lila from the consequences of whatever Lila herself is involved in? That would make the motel scene even darker. Maybe the two groups of killers weren't there because Lila was an innocent target. Maybe they were there because someone wanted something from her. And maybe Lila and Amisha eliminated them before Reacher arrived. If that's true, then Reacher has been walking beside someone far more dangerous than he realizes. And that could be exactly what Season 4 is setting up. Because Reacher's biggest advantage has always been that he sees through people. But what happens when the person he's protecting is the one person he hasn't figured out? That's where this conspiracy becomes personal. Reacher may eventually discover that Lila has been lying to him. And when he does, the question won't be whether she's guilty. It will be why she needed him. Maybe she needed protection. Maybe she needed access. Maybe she needed someone powerful enough to break through the government wall surrounding her father's identity. Or maybe she needed Reacher because she knew he would eventually find the flash drive. And if the drive contains the truth about her father, then Lila's entire story suddenly takes on a different meaning. She wasn't searching for Reacher. She was searching for someone who could open the door. And Reacher may have just done it. That's why I don't think the biggest twist of Season 4 will simply be discovering who killed Ben or who sent the assassins. The bigger twist could be discovering that Lila has been one step ahead of Reacher the entire time. She may not be the mastermind, she may genuinely be trying to survive, but she clearly knows more than she's saying. And the motel massacre is the moment the show wants us to notice it. Because innocent people run from dead bodies. Lila and Amisha disappear. Innocent people ask for help. Lila keeps secrets. Innocent people need Reacher to protect them. Lila may have already known how to protect herself. And if that theory is right, then Reacher's entire investigation has been built on a false assumption. He thinks he's helping Lila discover who her father was. But perhaps Lila already knows. Perhaps the real mystery is why she doesn't want Reacher to know. And whatever the answer is, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Lila Houth is not the helpless woman Reacher thought he was saving. She's connected to the conspiracy. She's connected to the killings. She's connected to the hidden soldier at the center of this mystery. And now she has disappeared with the one person who may know exactly what she's capable of. Which means the next time Reacher finds Lila, He may not be walking in to rescue her, he may finally be walking in to confront her. And when that happens, the most important question won't be, who is Lila's father?